Small, screaming, inline-four, Sportbike. For years, the four-cylinder lived unchallenged with no real rival. Then, everything changed when the Chinese manufacturers attacked. At the top of the horsepower chart sits the newcomer, producing an impressive 84 horsepower at the crank. In second place is the CF Moto with 78 horsepower, while the Kawasaki is just 1 horsepower behind, despite having by far the smallest engine here. It achieves that by spinning its little inline-four much harder than the others, making peak power at 14,500 RPM and screaming all the way to a 16,000 RPM redline. Now, as for torque, rather than chasing peak horsepower, CF Moto has clearly tuned its engine for the street. It leads the pack with 49 Nm of torque, delivering a broader, more usable power band that's much better suited to commuting and real-world riding. The ZX Moto sits somewhere in the middle. It isn't as peaky as the Ninja, nor as torque-focused as the CF Moto. Instead, it strikes a balance between the two, aiming to be both a capable track bike and a practical everyday machine. The Ninja once again finishes at the bottom in terms of torque, but that's hardly surprising. With the smallest engine here, it has to rely on revs rather than displacement. It's an engine that really comes alive at the top end, but the trade-off is less punch lower down the rev range. Power is only half the story. Weight plays a huge role in how fast a bike actually feels. Despite having the biggest engine, the CF Moto is also the heaviest at 192 kilograms wet. The Ninja isn't far behind at 189 kilograms, while the ZX Moto claims an incredibly light 168 kilograms wet. That figure almost sounds too good to be true, and it might be. Several owners have reported weighing the bike closer to 180 kilograms with a full tank, around 12 kilograms more than the claimed figure. Even so, it's still comfortably the lightest bike here, and thanks to its class-leading horsepower, it also boasts the best power-to-weight ratio. The Ninja takes second place, while the CF Moto finishes just behind with an almost identical power-to-weight ratio. Now let's have a look beneath the fairings. All three are powered by inline-fours, but they come in different sizes. The CF Moto packs the biggest engine here at 500cc. The ZX Moto follows with a 470cc, while the Kawasaki has the smallest engine at just 399cc. That's why the Ninja has to work much harder, revving higher than the others to produce almost the same horsepower, while the larger engines achieve it with a lot less effort. The ZX Moto also runs the highest compression ratio of the bunch, helping it squeeze out class-leading performance. The ZX Moto gives you 4 color options. It's available in neon green, stealth black, cherry red, and bright white. The Ninja isn't far behind, with 3 color options: Kawasaki's signature lime green, white, and black. The CF Moto takes a more minimalist approach, with just 2 choices: gray or white. The ZX Moto continues to impress when it comes to electronics. It's the only bike here, and arguably the only one in the class, to get a 6-axis IMU. That means you get cornering ABS and wheelie control, although the wheelie control is tied into the traction control system rather than being adjustable on its own. It also gets ride-by-wire, which unlocks multiple riding modes, a bidirectional quickshifter, launch control, and a TFT display with Bluetooth connectivity, all included as standard. The Ninja isn't quite as loaded, but it still covers all the essentials. There's no launch control or IMU, so the ABS is conventional rather than lean sensitive. Even so, you still get ride-by-wire, multiple riding modes, traction control, a bidirectional quickshifter, and a TFT dash with smartphone connectivity. The CF Moto, meanwhile, keeps things much simpler. It misses out on both an IMU and ride-by-wire, so there's no cornering ABS or riding modes. The quickshifter is upshift only, but it does come with traction control and a TFT display with Bluetooth connectivity as standard. Now let's move on to the chassis. All three use trellis-style frames, which isn't exactly unusual for bikes in this price range. The Ninja and ZX Moto stick with regular steel, while the CF Moto gets a chromoly steel frame. All three also get upside-down forks, but the specs are quite different. The ZX Moto gets a fully adjustable U and fork, while the Ninja uses Showa's separate function fork with preload adjustment. The CF Moto goes for KYB forks with full adjustment. At the back, the ZX Moto and Ninja both get fully adjustable shocks, while the CF Moto only gets preload and compression adjustment. And when it comes to stopping power, all three use 4-piston radial mount calipers. The ZX Moto gets Taisco units. The Ninja uses Kawasaki branded calipers, while the CF Moto gets Nissan. When it comes to dimensions, there's not much between them. Fuel tank capacity, seat height, and wheelbase are all pretty similar, so you're not going to notice a huge difference there. The bigger difference comes down to the tires. The Ninja and CF Moto run narrower rear rubber, which should help them feel a bit lighter and more agile, while the ZX Moto goes for a chunky 180 rear tire to put that extra power down and give you more grip. And as a bonus, the ZX Moto gets a single-sided swing arm, which, let's be honest, just looks better. So, looking at the whole package, the ZX Moto definitely comes out on top on paper. It's the most powerful, the lightest, and has the best power-to-weight ratio. On top of that, you get the most impressive electronics package, fully adjustable suspension, winglets, a wider rear tire, and that rather cool single-sided swing arm. It honestly looks like a much bigger bike than its engine size suggests. The only real question mark is the brand itself. ZX Moto is still relatively new, and while the after-sale support looks promising so far, only time will tell how it holds up in the long run. Then there's the Ninja. It's the smallest bike here, and you really have to rev the hell out of it to get the most from it. That's a lot of fun when you're riding hard on a track, but maybe not quite as appealing when you're stuck in traffic or cruising on a highway. The electronics and suspension are decent, and of course, Kawasaki has the advantage when it comes to dealer network and after-sale support. And finally, the CF Moto takes a more street-focused approach. Its bigger engine gives it stronger low-end mid-range torque, making it easier to ride around town without constantly chasing the red line. It's heavier and the electronics aren't as sophisticated, but the suspension is still pretty decent. So, which one would you take home? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.